In 2025, one small island is attracting the attention of global giants. It's not size or population that's pulling them in, it's what Singapore offers that no one else can. Let's break down 10 powerful nations making bold moves toward Singapore, and why they're doing it now. 10. Australia. More and more Australian companies are packing their bags, not to leave the region, but to grow beyond their borders. In 2025, thousands of Aussie businesses are moving their headquarters and teams to Singapore. It's not only about better tax rates. The real attraction is access to one of the fastest-growing markets on Earth, Southeast Asia. With its location, stability, and global trade connections, Singapore has become the ideal place for Australian startups and tech firms to expand internationally. For them, this isn't running away from Australia, it's running toward greater opportunity. The education sector also plays a big part. Singapore's universities offer English language instruction, global reputations, and high graduate employment. Australian parents and students are noticing and choosing Singapore over traditional destinations like the UK or US. Many now call it the Harvard of Asia with sunny weather. Military cooperation is also growing stronger. Australia and Singapore hold regular joint training exercises, building a military relationship based on trust and long-term strategic goals. In an unstable world, these partnerships could prove more important than ever. 9. United Kingdom. Since leaving the European Union, the UK has been searching for new partners, and Singapore is quickly becoming one of the most important. In 2025, British companies are opening new offices in Singapore at record speed. Why? Because Asia's economic engine is roaring, and Singapore is sitting at the control panel. Whether it's financial services, clean technology, or AI development, UK businesses are finding success in Singapore's well-regulated and opportunity-rich environment. London is still important, but Singapore is now viewed as the gateway to growth. Even British startups are making the jump. With rising costs and tighter laws in the UK, young founders are finding it easier to launch and scale in Singapore. The country offers support, investment, and a pro-business system that removes many of the headaches entrepreneurs face back home. Singapore's banking and fintech sectors have also attracted major British banks. Its transparent laws, secure financial system, and tech-forward government make it an attractive destination for expansion. For British professionals and business leaders, Singapore is more than a pit stop, it's a permanent base. 8. Japan. Japan's economy is facing major challenges. A shrinking population and slowing domestic growth mean Japanese companies must look outward. In 2025, many of Japan's largest firms are turning to Singapore to stay competitive. Singapore offers the perfect setting for testing robotics, AI, and logistics systems before expanding to larger Southeast Asian markets. In this way, the country has become a launchpad for Japan's future tech ambitions. Japan's healthcare industry is also forming close ties with Singapore. With both countries dealing with aging populations, they're collaborating on new medical technologies, from elderly care robots to stem cell therapies. Singapore often serves as a real-world test lab before these innovations return home to Japan. On the personal side, wealthy Japanese individuals are quietly relocating to Singapore, or at least moving their assets there. They value the legal protections, simple tax codes, and political stability. For many, it's a safe place to plan for the future without fear of economic or social disruption. 7. Germany. It's world famous for engineering and high-quality manufacturing. But in 2025, more and more German companies are moving parts of their operations to Singapore. Rising energy prices and complex regulations in Europe have made doing business at home a lot harder. Singapore, on the other hand, offers a more streamlined and modern setup. From machinery to pharmaceuticals, German firms are using Singapore's infrastructure and access to Asian supply chains to stay competitive. The country also supports environmental goals that German businesses care deeply about. Green technology is now a major area of cooperation. German and Singaporean firms are working together on things like clean hydrogen, carbon trading, and other sustainable innovations. Singapore is really building a reputation as Asia's capital for green finance, and Germany definitely wants to be part of it. Major German automakers and medical companies are also opening research and development labs in Singapore. These aren't just small side projects, they're central to future planning. In today's race to invent and deploy new technologies, being in the right location makes all the difference. For Germany, Singapore is that location. 6. France. It's known for fashion, art, and the good life. And in 2025, French luxury brands are pouring into Singapore. Why? Well, Southeast Asia's rising middle class is eager to buy, and Singapore is where they shop. From high-end fashion houses to exclusive perfume launches, French businesses are setting up their most elegant stores in Singapore's malls and hotels. But they're not just selling products, they're creating experiences, something the city-state is perfectly built to support. French tech startups are also joining in. They're teaming up with Singaporean partners to develop smart mobility solutions, AI systems, and biotech projects. Where France brings creative thinking, Singapore offers precision and efficiency. French culture is also growing its presence. Through art exhibitions, film festivals, and food events, France is winning hearts and minds in the region. This cultural diplomacy isn't just about fun, it's a strategic move to increase influence through soft power. 5. India. In 2025, Indian professionals, from software engineers to bankers, are arriving in Singapore in larger numbers than ever. They're drawn by better salaries, cleaner cities, and more global job options. While Indian cities continue to grow, many young workers are choosing Singapore for its quality of life and career advantages. It offers everything they want: safety, world-class services, and professional growth. Indian startups are also seeing the benefits of starting or relocating to Singapore. The legal system is easier to navigate, funding is more available, and connections across Asia are easier to build from Singapore. It's not just a move, it's a step up. Even in defense, India and Singapore are growing closer. They've boosted their naval cooperation, participated in more joint drills, and agreed on strategies to keep the Indo-Pacific safe. These moves show deep trust and common goals between the two countries. 4. China. So, China's economy is, pretty large and powerful, but by 2025, its wealthy citizens are actually looking for places to protect their futures, and Singapore is, their top choice. Tougher rules at home, political unpredictability, and all those surveillance concerns have pushed many of China's elite to move their money, and sometimes even their families, abroad. Singapore offers exactly what they're missing: safety, clear laws, and privacy. Chinese tech firms are also finding a new home in Singapore. With strict oversight back in China and, honestly, suspicion in the West, they need a place that allows for global growth. Singapore provides neutrality, trust, and access to markets without heavy restrictions. Education is another big reason Chinese families are moving in. Singapore's bilingual schools and international curricula help children blend Eastern values with Western knowledge. These schools are, in fact, giving students more global opportunities than what's available back home. 3. South Korea. So, South Korea's booming digital economy has, hit some speed bumps at home, with tighter regulations slowing down innovation. In 2025, Korean crypto firms and fintech startups are turning to Singapore instead. Its open policies and support for digital finance are giving South Korean businesses the freedom to build again. But, it's not all tech. The Korean wave, K-pop, K-dramas, and more, is spreading fast in Southeast Asia, and Singapore is now one of its key bases. Korean entertainment companies are opening offices, organizing concerts, and tapping into the regional fan base. On the medical side, wealthy South Koreans are flying to Singapore for advanced treatments and cosmetic care. Singapore's hospitals offer quick service, trusted results, and luxury-level experiences. For high-end clients, it's worth every dollar. 2. United States. Political drama, regulatory confusion, and rising costs are pushing U.S. tech companies to think twice about staying in California. In 2025, firms like Meta and Google are increasing their investment in Singapore, and for good reason. The digital infrastructure is excellent, the talent pool is global, and the government welcomes innovation. Singapore has become a serious alternative to Silicon Valley for companies looking for speed, safety, and access to Asia. American investors are also shifting their attention. Instead of putting all their money in U.S. startups, they're using Singapore to reach Southeast Asian innovators. It's a cleaner, faster, and more stable process, and one that could lead to huge returns. Even U.S. citizens are relocating. With rising crime and healthcare issues in some American cities, Singapore's high-quality public services are a major draw. People aren't just moving for work, they're moving for a better life. 1. Russia. Russia's political and economic ties with the West are nearly frozen. With sanctions growing tighter, many of Russia's elite are turning to Singapore in 2025 as their new financial safe zone. They're moving assets, opening bank accounts, and even relocating their families. It's not about luxury, it's about survival. Singapore offers legal safety, financial protection, and a neutral position in global politics. Russian businesses, especially those cut off from European and US markets, are using Singapore to keep trading. From logistics to finance, Singapore has become a lifeline for Russian companies navigating global restrictions. And just like others on this list, Russia's wealthy are sending their kids to Singapore's best schools. It's not just an investment in education, it's a move toward building a new life in a place they can trust. So, out of all these countries, which one surprised you the most? Did you expect to see Russian billionaires moving to Singapore, or were you more surprised by how American tech is shifting east? Let us know in the comments below. And, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this with someone who still thinks the West is the only place where the future is made. Because clearly that future might just begin in Singapore.